let's recap January. Seeing as today is the last day of the month, it felt fitting to just talk about everything that went on this month. Get comfy, maybe you grab some makeup, and let's hang out. I think what prompted this recap was honestly, I was looking at some of my old videos and just to see what I was interested in, what I was talking about, what I was going through, and I thought, why not do this monthly? I took some inspiration from doing monthly favorites videos. I also like the idea of these serving as a time capsule. Plan is to do these monthly and upload them on the last day of every month. All right, let's do this. If you could summarize January in one word, what would it be? My word for January would definitely be recalibration. I've never had, up until this point, so many moving parts in my life, especially to go through this change during my 20s. I feel like I am resetting, I'm kind of system shut down and then like turn off, turn back on, that kind of thing. This time, if anything, has really forced me to evaluate the direction that I want my life to go in. Jobs, relationships, where I see myself in the future. Like, I think this time, more so specifically this month, has forced me to think about all those things. It's been extremely frustrating, so overwhelming, but at the same time, I know that this is the phase I'm meant to be in, and I think it will set me up for wherever I decide to go in the future. In this month of January, I felt all 31 days. In months prior, sometimes it's felt like a blur. The weeks have felt like days, hours have felt like minutes. But I think this time, I felt every single minute. I felt every single emotion. I processed every single thought. I think that was kind of the point. Now, what happened in this month? January told me I was gonna get real about finances. Once you start working, and even as you get older, the way that you see money, interact with it, and just your relationship changes over time. When I got my first job working at Marshall's, my paycheck was gone as soon as I got it. That was my first time ever making money for myself, my taste of freedom, and I took it all in. Now I've had other jobs, I've learned how to save, to budget, I've gotten more intentional about what I even want to spend money on, and I think now I'm in the phase where it's getting real. Before, I think it was, oh yeah, let's save money, that's something good to do, but now it's like, okay, saving money for renting, for a house, for a future. Like, I have goals now. Like, not that I didn't before, but I just think as you get older, you realize the future that you kind of want to have for yourself. Thinking about retirement, 401ks, Roth IRAs, kind of where I'm in now. And this month has forced me to really think about it. Also learning a lot about money in terms of investing, how to make it work for me, how I can just have a good relationship with it. When I first started working, I was spending money on literally anything. I was like, oh yeah, this is a good thing, this is good, I like this. Now what's helped me really be a lot more intentional is spending, is choosing 3 things that I want to spend money on. Any guesses? First one is books, second one is clothing / jewelry, and third are experiences, big or small. The rest are things that I'm okay if I don't really have. If I need a concealer or something, it doesn't need to be the most expensive thing, because I know I would rather spend more money on a clothing item or something like that. You're still able to enjoy your money. This is a concept from the book called I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. I saw a snippet of it and I loved the concept. It's important to find that balance of saving and enjoying. Second thing that happened this month was dating, or maybe lack thereof. I've been single for 2 years, I think, at this point, and I just started getting back into dating maybe 2-ish months ago. This month kind of taught me all about the ebbs and flows that come along with it, and just interacting with other people. I have no riz. I think maybe I do. I definitely don't. It's the first time in a long time that I have really put myself out there, and it doesn't always work out. This month, that was the case for me. It didn't work out, but I think just the fact that I was able to put myself out there after so long that's a win for me. One thing that helped was just letting myself feel the emotions and not invalidating myself with my own inner thoughts. Longest I was being like, well, you didn't even really date, or it was so early, like, why are you sad? Why are you this? While the intent was helpful, it just honestly made me feel worse. So I just let myself cry. I gave myself some time to really feel and be upset, because yeah, it's upsetting. Somebody I liked, it didn't work out. That sucks. If you're going through something similar and you're feeling like, oh, well, why am I even crying? It wasn't even that big of a deal. No, it was. You wouldn't be crying, you wouldn't be this upset if it wasn't that big of a deal. I have learned that I am a lover girl at heart, and I think sometimes in dating, I feel like I need to hide that because I don't want to come on too strong, or I don't want to be perceived this way. But then at the end of the day, in doing that, I'm not myself. I was thinking about this the other day, but what might be too much for one person, another person has been looking for you their entire life. Dating's tough, but at the same time, there are a lot of reasons that I love dating, and just the prospect of finding somebody that you can just be yourself with and be vulnerable and also grow in love together, I love. It's worth it. It's not gonna be easy, but if that gets me to that point, it's worth it. Next thing that happened this month, job instability. Do I need to set my concealer? Your guess is as good as mine. I just forgot my makeup routine for a hot sec. I recently graduated with my master's in counseling, and I love the field, and in job searching and in being in it and experiencing it, I loved counseling, but I felt like something was missing. A part of it was just being in the sphere of COVID and needing to find other outlets. So I fell into social media, learning about the digital age, and I loved that side of it. Not just the creation, but the analytics of it, the brand awareness, certain relationships. Honestly, the thought of wanting to go into another field after I've spent so much time and effort and energy and money on this one field has been nerve-wracking, overwhelming. The one thing that makes me feel as though I'm on the right path, and is as daunting as it is, it doesn't make me want to turn around and run away. If anything, it makes me want to go full steam ahead. It's kind of reinforced my passion for it. No, I know it's hard, but I still want to do it. I know that I can make this happen for myself. That's not to say that I'll never do counseling again. I still have such a deep-seated appreciation for it. I honor the work whenever I help someone, whenever I am able to just be present with them and whatever they're talking to me about. It's such a powerful experience that I know I will never give it up completely. Talking to my sister about this, expressing my frustration because I feel like I am trying so hard and just not seeing any results. I feel like I'm constantly applying, constantly updating my resume, sending out cover letters, reaching out to people, and nothing has turned up. And as sucky as it is, she's like, keep going. She's like, consistency and discipline are the biggest things. Said she was a little envious of the spot that I was in right now. I stopped right there. I was like, hold the phone. What do you mean? You're just what? She was saying when she was in college, she kind of wished that she had done bartending, and she was like, I just think that would have been such a fun experience. So she told me, if there's any job, if there's anything that you've ever wanted to do, now is the time to do it. You are in a position where you can choose who you want to be, what you want to do, and that is so powerful. Whether it's now, a few years from now, you can always choose who you want to be. It's never too late to start over. To do it, I realized I need to go 110%. Part of the reason I felt a little up in the air, embarrassment and insecurity that I felt came along with expressing that I was changing my plans. Told people, oh yeah, I'm doing counseling, and then when they follow up and ask, oh, how's counseling going? What are you doing? To then be like, ooh, I'm not really doing that. It kind of felt, maybe they looked at me differently because I wasn't being held accountable, or, oh, she's not true to her word. She said she was doing this and now she's changing her mind. My own inner thoughts that I was projecting and assigning to the thoughts that I assumed other people have. Has overthinking always been this much effort? I've always been a very high achiever, and I think that embarrassment came with the fact I felt I was letting people down. So I know that's not the case because I've talked to my mom, I've talked to my parents, I've talked to everybody, and they're like, no, I literally don't think that at all. If I didn't do something for fear of what other people thought, we would not be talking right now. I would not be posting, and I love it. I love connecting. I love this outlet. So what, am I not going to pursue something because I think somebody else feels this way about me? If there's something you want to pursue, maybe you change your mind, you're switching directions, go with that. That was everything that happened in January. Now let's get into some things I loved and some favorites of January. First set of favorites are some podcasts that I've been loving. First one, my friend actually recommended the first podcast to me, but it's called Normal Gossip. I believe the host is a journalist and she has on a bunch of guests each week that are well-renowned in their own way, and they read stories sent in by viewers that are just gossip stories. My favorite episode so far is, I think it's the giant peach with somebody. I'll answer. It's so good. Next podcast I've been loving is Mindful Moments. I found this guy on Instagram and just the way that he spoke in sonnets and poetry, and when I found out he had a podcast, his episodes are like 15 to 20 minutes, so they're very digestible, and he talks a lot about feelings, changing plans, mental health, and I think it's just refreshing to also hear that from a guy's perspective as well. Next podcast I love is Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain. She is so wise, well beyond her years, and the way she is able to thoughtfully articulate certain things, at the same time still being so relatable. It's just such a nice mix. It honestly feels like you're getting advice or talking to a friend. Half the time I forget that she's younger than I am because the experiences that she's had and just the way she is so conscious about certain things, I'm like, wow. Last podcast I love is The Sleepy Bookshelf. I don't know about you, I cannot sleep in silence. I need something. And lately the TV has just been too overstimulating. So this podcast, they read story times. I think right now I'm listening to Anne of Green Gables. I'm out within 10 minutes. Now let's talk some of my favorite products. First product I love is the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I use this every day. I've tried Rhode, I've tried Laneige, and they're all really good, but lately the Summer Fridays has been doing it for me. I love the sweet mint flavor and the vanilla. They all just smell so good. My next favorite is actually this mascara we're using. This is the Say. I believe this is their Mascara 101, but I love a lengthening mascara, and this does just that. Honestly, Say as a brand, I love. I have their bronzer. I also have a bunch of different shades of the blush. My favorite right now is actually Chili, and it's a clean makeup brand too, so if you have sensitive skin, I would definitely recommend Say. The next product favorite is actually my multivitamin. I've been taking Health by Habit for the last year or so, and it started because when I went to my endocrinologist, she said my vitamin D levels were low. So I've been taking that vitamin, and I've noticed a lot of difference with my energy. I think, knock on wood, the fact that I haven't really been sick at all. We're all good in the vitamin department. Next products are skincare related. I love the Peter Thomas Roth cleanser. Skin loves it. It's pricey, but it's so good. So the Laneige Cream Skin has been a dream for me in the winter, especially since at the start of this season, I think just with the temperature changes right around my nose and underneath my chin, my skin was just consistently dry. Honestly, my dry skin was gone pretty much right after I used it, which has never happened to me before with a skincare product. Normally it takes, at least a week or something to see a result, but never instantaneously. So now some mindsets and perspectives that I've loved this month. I love this first one. It is find a way to fall in love with your life, that when you see somebody else falling in love with theirs, it is confirmation and not a threat. It'd be easy to see somebody else's journey and you assume that seemingly everything is going right for them, and you immediately feel insecure. You start second guessing yourself, maybe build up some resentment. Rather than looking at it through that lens, seeing somebody else living and loving their life should be confirmation to you, like, yeah, okay, it's possible to love your life. If you see somebody in a happy, healthy relationship, instead of being jealous, be like, okay, yeah, that exists. I can have that for me too. The next one kind of reaffirmed for me more so with dating, but if you have a genuine connection, it is easy. It is safe, it is comforting, it will not be hard, it should not drain you, it should be your comfort haven. This next perspective changed the game. Your ability to have the life that you want is directly linked to your willingness to experience the opposite. For example, saving money will have you feeling broke when you're really developing rich habits. Working through trauma can have you feeling broken when it's really doing a lot of healing. When you're working out and you're doing certain exercises and you feel weak, your body is actually getting stronger. And then the last example is setting boundaries can oftentimes have you feeling alone, but it's making space for healthy relationships to come in. Realize like the oxymoron that life is sometimes. That just speaks to a lot of the things that you do in life will be tough, but it's getting you to a point that you want to be. Let's end the video with some February intention. First, for February, I think I am going to do the content 30. I follow this creator, her name is Tess. Makes a lot of content for creators that are either just starting out, want to get into content, and she kind of set this challenge for February, and I think the guidelines are posting once a day. I think you should comment on somebody else's video. There's something else that I'm missing, and then also less than an hour of scrolling. I think I've been pretty consistent with posting on TikTok, but sometimes it's just nice to have something to work towards. This feels attainable, and also it puts the emphasis back on me for creating content. With all of the media, you can fall into a doom scroll. I know I do sometimes. What's been helpful is remembering why I started. Next up for February, not only because it's Valentine's Day, but just continue to lead with love. I don't want to let the experience of dating harden me, and I think as somebody that is naturally just a lover person who wears their emotions on their sleeve, I think just being genuine and authentic to me in life, but I think especially with dating since I'm getting back into it. Next up for February is to schedule 3 times to see some friends. As much as I feel like winter is all about hibernation, it is so important to also socialize as well. A couple days ago, I met up with one of my friends for dinner, and it was just such a energizing experience, and I absolutely loved it. So far, I have 2 planned things in the month of February to see friends, so I'm working on doing 1 more. I want to take myself out on a solo date this month. I spend a lot of time on my own. I'm totally happy to do things by myself, but I've never gone out to dinner with myself or taken myself out for an activity, and I think that would just be really, really fun. And lastly, I want to find a full-time job, whether that is in counseling, whether that is in a different field, whether it's exploring a new passion of mine. I'm putting it out there. That concludes it for this January check-in video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe. I know this week was a bonus week, but normally it's 1 video. So if that is not enough, be sure to keep up with me on both TikTok and Instagram for some more real-time updates. I would love to know how this month of January was for you, and also how you plan to go into the month of February. I hope that whenever you're watching this, you have the best morning, evening, afternoon, or night, but most importantly, I hope that you are well. I think that is it from me, and I will see ya when I see ya. Bye, guys.